2023 inductee. We'll talk about the late, great Norm Tischler. But Bob Frank, are you here? Let's give Bob a hand. There comes Bob Frank. And by the way, folks, don't forget, we have Blue Society t-shirts over there. Everybody, you should get at least one.
Thank you. Oh, I do. I'm the last one to talk. I will make this as quick as possible, but I do want to say, I want to say something about each of the inductees first. Donnie Baker, the first live blues I ever saw when I was 14 years old was the Mr. Stress Band, and Donnie Baker was the guitar player. So my first, he wasn't much older than me. The Svelbar family, my band, the Hotfoot Quartet Bluegrass Band, was the first band to play at the Euclid Tavern. You guys remember? And here's what happened. We were there Fridays and Saturdays. And we were doing well, and we got an offer to play in Canada. And Jim Bloom, our bass player, went to, maybe it was you, maybe it was Yost, and said, we're going out of town for the weekend. We'll miss next week, but we'll be back playing for you next week. So they went out and got Mr. Stress, and we never played there again. So
We stole them from the brick cottage.
I know you did.
We gave him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yes, and you gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. Get out. But it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. Chip Fitzgerald, one of my dearest friends, my road roommate on the road with Wallace Coleman. Also someone I used to go see when he was in the case of E.T. Hooley, and I thought he was it. T.C. Odegaard is maybe my favorite vocalist in Cleveland. And I want to tell you why. When he sings, you get the meaning of the words. And that's not the case with everybody. But when I listen to him sing, I feel the true meaning of the words. Tim Matson is another dear friend. I love playing music with him whenever we get the chance. We've never done so formally, but he's wonderful. Who here did not know Norman? Not a damn hand. Who here knew Norman? Everybody knew Norman. 1977. I was living in a great apartment at Shaker Square, had 2 bedrooms. I needed a roommate. Had to kick my roommate out. That's a whole other story. Norman approached me, said, "I hear you need a roommate." I said, yeah. I knew who he was. I knew he had, played in this nationally known band, Tiny Alice. I said, yeah, I need a roommate. So Norman moved in. And we became instant friends. But I learned something very interesting. When you're with Norman, you become invisible. We'd be walking down the street and run into people I've known since I was a little kid, and they never saw me. Norman, hey, look, honey, there's Norman. Hi, Norman. And I'm standing there like, what am I, a potted plant? Here's the story. I was in a band back then. It was the bluegrass band that played at Euclid Tavern called the Hotfoot Quartet. We went one time. We were invited to go to some sort of an arts gathering at some gallery in the Flats. Kovac, I think you were there. And we're sitting there drinking, wine in those little plastic glasses with the long stems. And this girl walks up to me, attractive girl, and she says, "I know who you are." And I kind of went, "Oh, you're Norman's roommate." But he became like part of the family. He was best man at my wedding. He appointed himself godfather to my children. I should mention what kind of saxophone player he was. He was the best. He wasn't the most hardworking. In the entire time we lived together, which was like, 3 or 4 years, he never brought the saxophone into the apartment. He could just do it. Wow. I used to say, well, I'd do anything in the world for this guy except playing a band with him, until I did. And he got me into the Blue Lunch Band, and Norman spent 10 years in that band. That was his longest tenure in any group that he was ever in, was in the 10 years he spent in Blue Lunch. And then he moved on to other things, as Norman always does. So when Norman died, it was just awful. I don't think any of us really believed it was going to happen. All right, here's a couple of anecdotes, and then I'll be done here. His girlfriend at the time, Lynn, and a lady named Lauren Payne and I went to the temple to try to arrange his funeral. And they explained to us what it would cost, because nothing's for free, especially anything connected with death. Nothing's for free. And they told us it would be $1.50 to $2 a person to serve coffee. And we were expecting about 400 or 500 people at this funeral, which eventually happened. So we're scratching our head, where are we going to come up with this money? So we talked about, maybe we can do a fundraiser. Maybe we can raise $200-300. So I went to the bank. I said, I'd like to open an account for a fund. They said, well, you have to be 501c3. There was no time for that. And then somebody told me, I think it was a guy at the bank, told me, Facebook does fundraisers. So I go home. It's Friday afternoon, about 4:30. I look up how to do those things on Facebook. I set it all up for a fundraiser, and then I click post. And I sit in front of my computer screen, and I'm asking for funds for Norman's funeral. And it goes like this: ding, 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 ding. We raised $17,000 for Norman. They had an event at the Music Box, which has a big room upstairs and another room downstairs. And that room was packed with people. Every musician that was asked performed. I played with 3 different bands. And at one point I looked out in the crowd and I said to whoever was standing next to me, there are other musicians that might be able to draw this kind of a crowd to a memorial, but they would be drawing fans. Norman didn't have fans. He had friends. And I would guarantee he knew the name and had a personal relationship with everybody that was in that building. And I would bet just about everybody that's in this building. You knew him. He was your friend. He was your pal. Well, I missed him every day because we'd have conversations after dinner. And, hey, Bob, one of those kind of things. But, well, I'm glad I knew him. That's all I can say. Amen. Thank you.
All right, folks, by the way, let's give the Cleveland Blues Society a big hand. Huh? Thank you. The Woodside Event Center, the place where we're at right now, great job. Thank you so much. Our sound technicians, G-Rock. Thank you. Videographers from various media outlets, including Cleveland State. Yeah. My name is Ray Carr, WCSB, and Terry, would you like to say anything else? I'm sorry, thank you. Our videographer from Pineapple, give him a hand. Thank you. This whole performance will be online in a couple of weeks. All right, thank you. Just make sure you get my good side. I'm supposed to say you don't have one, Ray. Thank you. All right. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and the musicians will come up here and play, and that's what you want to hear. Folks, thank you so much. Have a great day.